Right, so shall I kick things off then?
You shall.
Right then, well, I shall say welcome to the Jolly Podcast. I nearly fucked up straight away. The Jolly Podcast.
Jolly Podcast.
The Jolly Podcast.
Jolly Podcast.
Welcome to the Jolly Podcast. So, I suppose we should introduce ourselves. My voice will be familiar if you've been watching the rest of my channel from Jolly Cooperation. My name is Brock. Hello. And to my right, I have Mr. Rob Tipping.
Hi.
Is that it? Yep. Now you know Rob. And to my left is my friend Ad.
Hello. Well, I was going to say more, but now you've only said hi. I don't feel like I can.
You can trumpet.
What?
So yeah, I think I'm going to be saying a lot during this podcast. So the basic idea of this is all three of us are going to come up with a subject that we want to talk about, and guess what? We're going to talk about it, and all is going to be well. We're going to have some laughs, and we'll probably go off on tangents, and Rob might say more than just hi. He might. So anyway, I think we should establish what sort of consoles we've got. That sound, by the way, is Rob supping on Capri Sun.
Almost done.
It's highly professional already, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Yeah, so, Rob, what game consoles do you own?
Well, currently, I'm a Sony guy. I've got
You're
a...
a fanboy. Sony fanboy.
Nah, I wouldn't go that extreme. Microsoft's good. You know, it's got some good ideas, just... But,
Have they?
well, no. But I've got a PS3, a PS Vita, and a PS4, which I'm playing at the moment.
Good. What consoles have you got, Ad? Well, you're our PC specialist here.
There we go.
You?
You've blown it for me already, so I can't even say that, but never mind. Yeah,
It's not the first time I've blown it for you, really, is it?
Okay, guys.
I went there.
Yeah, got a PC. So I spent about £1,000 on about a year ago, so it's out of date already, despite me spending that amount of money. And I also got a PlayStation 4, which I haven't touched since Christmas. So
A worthy investment.
a worthy investment. Well, you know.
But you get to play Knack. Who wouldn't
I
want-
traded next to it. But I played some NBA. I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed, but then I went straight back to my computer. Playing games such as DayZ Standalone. And that's about it for the moment.
Do you want to mention your
My
YouTube
top
channel?
YouTube channel? No.
No.
We'll cut that from the podcast audio.
Ad doesn't have a YouTube channel.
Don't look for it.
He got bored of that as well. PS4, YouTube channel, fuck it all. So yeah, you probably know what I own. I've got an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, and I also own a Sony PS Vita. And I plan to own them all at some point. I did have a PS3 and it died. It was a sad day. It was the day before The Last of Us came out.
Yeah.
And I never got to play it, which was heartbreaking. But never mind, we shall soldier on.
But I made a profit on his game, so that's alright for me.
You see, there was a happy ending there in the end. There
Gotta
was a
find a
happy
happy
ending
ending.
there.
I got to play The Last of Us very, very, very briefly. But I had to
Oh yeah.
suspend my console in the air for some reason to get the disc to read. And which point, when it decided that wasn't going to work anymore, I catapulted it into a washing basket.
Yes.
And that was the end of my PlayStation.
Everything that doesn't work ends up in your washing basket, doesn't it? So anyway, yeah, we have come up with some subjects.
Some of us.
Two of us did.
Well, I've got mine. Don't worry about me.
Rob come along and made it up on the spot.
I like to wing things.
I like Ad's commitment to the podcast. He's actually got notes.
Very, very brief notes.
he's got notes. I didn't think that far. I just thought, yeah, I'll talk about this. So Ad, do you want to tell people what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about something that's sort of permeate. Let me do that again. I wanted to talk about something that's been permeating.
God, why don't you just use a normal word?
Yeah.
What word would you use other than
I don't even know
That's
what
the whole
fucking
word.
permeating means, in all honesty.
Oh, I'll say it in a really roundabout way. I wanted to talk about something that's... I don't even know how to say it without saying the word permeate.
You want to talk about
something.
microtransactions?
Yeah, but it's on everything, isn't it? It's on phone games,
Yeah.
it's coming to console games, it's coming to PC games.
I think it's a bit of a hot topic at the moment, microtransactions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, there's as many schools of thought, but obviously I wanted to, from a PC gamer's point of view, there's a lot of free-to-play games where you just download the game, you can play it, and the good ones, you can buy items but are purely cosmetic. So you can buy a skin for your character, or you can buy a skin for your gun, and it doesn't actually affect the gameplay. The game's still balanced to play, whether you don't put any money into it, or you throw as much money as you want to wear a stupid hat. Like Team Fortress 2, for example, which I think that has gone a little bit too far with that for now, because I did play it a long time ago and it was more vanilla. But yeah, I wanted to ask you guys what your opinions were on microtransactions from a more console gaming point of view.
Well, I mean, being an Xbox One owner, Microsoft certainly seem to be pushing a little bit towards microtransactions. For example, with my console, I got Forza Motorsport 5, which is a great game, top quality. Thoroughly enjoyed it, but one thing that I did notice, and it was something that I've heard other people complain about, was the fact that you can actually buy in-game currency for real money, and when you're paying 50 quid at the time for a game, although I kind of got mine free with the console, but that's a moot point. But if you're paying 50 quid for a game, I don't see why you should be encouraged to be paying more. I mean, but people might say that downloadable content is a bit like microtransactions.
Stuff that should be in the game, and the developers have already said, "Oh, this is going to be in the game," but actually we'll take it out the game and get people to charge them 10 quid for it. We'll make even more money on this game.
Yeah, I mean that's DLC,
Yeah.
but microtransactions is slightly different. It's like a way of furthering the game quicker.
Yeah.
And that's where it leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth for me. I mean, I've heard that there are microtransactions in Rise, but the only thing I'm interested in Rise is the single player anyway. I've got it in front of me. Shall I have a look? Has it even got multiplayer?
I think
It's got co-op, 2-player co-op.
I think it's like
over Xbox Live.
Yeah, I think it's like an arena thing, like an arena battle.
Oh right, yeah, it rings a bell. That rings a
It's
bell.
an arena battle thing. I haven't looked into it, but I think it's an arena battle.
So I imagine you can
Just
buy some extra weapons or stuff.
Change characters' looks.
I mean, I think the worst offenders though are the phone games. I mean, a lot of phone games now. I mean, I'm a late adopter to a smartphone. I'm very stuck in my ways. I was a late adopter to a smartphone, having only got one a couple of months ago. But I was having a look on the games, and every single game it's like free, and I'm thinking, why are they just giving these games away? And then you actually get onto the game, and some of them you get a certain amount of lives, and then if you fail it 3 times in a day, you have to wait until the next day to start playing it, and all this sort of bloody nonsense. And I kind of like, well, I've not actually played for the game, so I'll play it, but I refuse to buy anything. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I have got Candy Crush on my phone.
Yes.
Am I allowed to say Candy Crush? I might get sued by King. That's another story. Fucking wankers. Why are they trying to sue anyone from using the word saga in their game? I mean, what is going on with that? I mean, those poor old age pensioners that go on those holidays, they're not going to have any holidays to go on if they have their way. But anyway, I'm going off subject. But on Candy Crush, you get like 5 or 6 lives during the day. And if you use all your lives, then you have to wait. It's usually
half an hour.
Is it half an hour?
Yeah.
I can't really say I've ever had any need to wait for a life anyway. I've usually got plenty of lives on there anyway. I mean, I won't tell you when I most play on that because you don't want to hear that. But yeah, you're looking at me. I play on it while I'm having a shit. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. It's been said now. We can move on. And
We can grow.
but it comes up with the option that I could actually pay to carry on playing it. Am I going to pay? No. But then I think, is a little kid going to pay? I mean...
There's all those stories, isn't there, where kids have been racking up over £1,000 and their parents haven't known about it until they get the bill through. And they're like, what's this?
Yeah, but there's no way that... It's this parent's fault. Sorry, you can't... It's the parents' fault, because if they're that stupid to leave their card details on a bloody phone of their kids... I mean, come on, that's just stupid in itself. So they deserve to have all that money taken off them.
Obviously, to kids, it doesn't mean money. They're just like, oh yeah, here you go, buy this. They don't realise, not having a credit card or a debit card themselves. They don't realise it's physical cash you're actually spending.
Kids have got no concept of money, and unless they're taught it, then they're not going to have a concept of money. So I think there's some bad parenting on there. But I mean, saying that some games I've read that I can't remember what the game was called, but basically there was a gun that you could buy for your character, and the price of it was $79.99.
That's cheap. I've actually heard things that are more expensive than
Really?
that. Yeah.
Well, I heard £80, and I was just like, fuck that. Tell you, my kid ain't having a bloody smartphone or an iPad until they're about 26. Fucking hell.
But the thing is as well, you always see these apps that have got absolutely stupid purchasables. They're always at the top grossing.
This is a worrying trend.
And that leads to my second question. Obviously that they'd love Xbox, like you say, the mainstream gaming, hardcore gaming, would you call it? I don't really know. Mainstream.
I don't like the term hardcore
It
gaming.
doesn't sound right, does it, anymore?
It's like hardcore porn style. That's a different time of gaming.
Knowing the term.
Just the
mainstream gaming.
Mainstream
like
gaming,
Xbox
I suppose,
and PlayStation.
yeah.
Obviously, they're looking
proper gaming.
Proper gaming. There we go. That's the definitive term. They're looking to, obviously, because like you say, it is a business. They're looking for profitability, and if these free, tiny little games that take no development time, no development team, hardly any supporting, can make so much money, obviously they're going to want their AAA titles to do the same. Now, would you say, obviously, I've played Candy Crush very, very briefly and got bored. Would you say, obviously, I know you wouldn't do it because they have Facebook, but these free games, even if you don't pay for it, force you to advertise to other people? And those other people could end up purchasing. So as gamers, by playing Candy Crush and other things and taking part in these advertisement things, are we negatively affecting gaming on the whole?
It's... Yeah. I mean, my analogy would be it's like Alice down the rabbit hole. Things are going to get crazy. And we're already seeing the signs of things getting crazy. But... First and foremost, games companies need to make money. If they're not making money, they're not making games. So I find it hard to criticise games companies too much, because they are a business at the end of the day. If they're not making money, they can't pay the people that work for them. Those people will be out of jobs.
And we won't have any games to play.
We won't have any
games to play. It's all very true. But as people say, with voting with their wallets, if you play these games, no, not necessarily. And the troubling fact with these phone games, you don't have to buy the microtransactions to support the purchase of microtransactions.
Yeah.
You have to play it, and that's all you have to do. Because of
play it,
Facebook,
and advertise it, and then your friends will
friend
buy
requests,
it.
all this stuff, and then you will find someone down there. It's a massive web of advertisement that will find someone that buys it.
Yeah, because you advertise it to 5 people. Those 5 people advertise it to another 5 people, and those 5 people add it to another 5. Someone, those people are going to be buying it somewhere.
So 4 days ago, the Guardian had a piece valuing Candy Crush at $5 billion, and that's that's huge for you. I mean, everybody knows what the game is. It is literally just moving pieces. It's what Bejeweled was it? Was the old game? It's that
fucking Columns was doing that years ago on the old Mega Drive.
And that's nothing. I mean, like the amount of time that goes into. I mean, I don't know how much Call of Duty's worth, but if that carries on, and which it will, because there's no stopping it now. Are we going to see the point where it's going to be in everything? And it is, like Rob said, like if they're not releasing completed games, are we going to see a point where you're going to have to keep shelling out money to get the full experience that we have now? Because who's going to turn down $5 billion if you can get that for doing next?
Well, I wouldn't turn down $5 billion. No. To be honest, what would you really do with $5 billion?
Buy an island.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, buy an island. I always said one of my dreams would be to buy an island and then build a racetrack on it and just buy a shitload of really nice cars and just invite my friends and family to come and stay on my island and drive cars around the track all day. And then we'd retire into like the gaming room and it'd just be, whatever you wanted to play on, it would be there, just everything.
If I ever get to pick one person to get $5 billion, I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Well, what about me?
You didn't come up with an offer.
Your island's got fuck all on it.
You just bought it and left it there.
Duh.
Brock's built a paradise in his mind.
Yeah, I was going to make a Lost, buy an island and make it like Lost.
Fucking polar bears on
put random polar bears on the island.
Random polar bears and a fancy fog machine.
Yeah.
But I think microtransactions. The thing is, I think the people that microtransactions are aimed at aren't actually what you would call, console gamers or PC gamers. They're not the sort of people they're targeting. They're targeting these young kids that are getting bloody smartphones when they're like 8 years old. I mean, what's that all about for a start? I mean, I didn't have a mobile phone until I was, 16, 17?
You say that though, but
they didn't exist. But to be fair, but
£5 billion worth of value on a company can't come from 8-year-olds alone. And to be fair, there must be adults doing this, and I think that it comes from like a sense of competition as well, like the social aspect, which advertises that even if you don't pay, if you earn so much money and you're so frivolous with it that you want to beat someone, you might end up paying these things just to get through levels.
At a point, like 69p once doesn't sound so much, but obviously if you do it like 5 or 6 times, it mounts up, doesn't it?
That's it. Yeah, it's attractively priced. It's like impulse purchases, and it
takes like 2 seconds to purchase, and that's it.
As long as it's easy and the price is like impulsive, people will do it, and like you say, it will mount up. I mean, can we see? I mean, the latest Call of Duty on the multiplayer, you could almost, if you took away the squad point system, or if you could give someone the option to buy squad points, it would almost be like a microtransactions thing, because there's no unlock progression.
Yeah.
There's just currency, you buy what you want, you get it, use it until you prestige. And there's there's built in a system where whoever wants to get to top prestige can buy all the shit they want straight away, blast through the levels.
I've seen that on the new Need for Speed. If you go on the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Marketplace, they've got all the time savers, so you can pay for £4 or something, £3, and you can unlock all the cars instantly, just like that. And I'm like, why would you want to cheat and spoil the fun of unlocking the game, unlocking these things as you progress? You can just do it just straight like that by paying up front.
I mean, this is something they're already done with Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know that they'd done this, and I went to pre-order Battlefield 4, and they said, "Oh, you've got this exclusive code," and I was like, "What code's that for?" Then he was like, "Well, if you're still playing on Battlefield 3, you type that code in, and you'll get all the unlocks for the like the jets and all the helicopters and stuff." And I'm like, such a thing like this exists. Could have fucking told me a long time ago, because I was never going to unlock all that stuff. But no, I wouldn't want to.
That's the fun of the game, is playing it and completing challenges or getting your character level up to unlock this stuff. And it's an achievement in itself, just to unlock it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, it is, but
And
I mean, you could literally unlock everything. When I looked on there, you could unlock everything in Battlefield 3, and you could still be level 1.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that it goes too far. If people are given the option to buy all the unlocks, then people are going to take that, because unfortunately, I myself, I prefer to, have a level playing field, but some people will take any old advantage that they can get just to make themselves feel better.
Well, that's like you've just said. Then that's the counter argument they say. There's the microtransactions are there for people who haven't got the time to grind for it, but the people who would grind for it anyway are that involved in the game that they'll buy it before they start grinding.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just to have the competitive edge. Because that's what the majority of people who will sit there for hours and grind at a game to get a gun or get whatever it is, whatever advantage. They're going to take the easy route as well. They're not just going to instantly say, oh, well, I'm committed enough to grind at this game, I won't buy the package. That's not why they're grinding. They're to grind. They're doing it to get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Battlefield. I haven't really played COD online. It's not the sort of shooter I like, personally, but on Battlefield, there's satisfaction when it comes up saying you've unlocked such and such a thing. Most of the time, it's usually a scope for a gun I've never fucking used.
Yeah, that's all it
But
is.
you still like it, don't you?
Yeah.
When it pops up saying unlocked, you're like, woo!
It's a bit like achievements and trophies.
They
on
mean
games.
nothing, but it's still kind of cool when you unlock them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you get that little pop-up saying you've got a trophy or you've got an achievement, there's that little bit inside of you that says, yeah, I feel like I've achieved something today. And no greater achievement was when that last achievement for Dark Souls, which I got the other day. Fuck yes, I was well chuffed with that. And I managed to get a mention of Dark Souls in. Because Rob loves Dark Souls, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's such an amazing, grossing game.
Anyway, don't want to talk about Dark Souls in this episode.
Not.
That's for next one.
Next segment, Dark Souls 2.
So what was it that you wanted to talk about, Rob?
Well, I thought I might talk about Outlast.
Oh yes,
The horror
you were going to
survival
talk
game.
about Outlast, that is available on PS4
And PC.
and PC, and on PS4 you can actually get it for free on PlayStation Plus. And handy tip: if you haven't got a PS4 but you have got PS Plus, then go on the website and you can still download it. So if you do get a PS4, you will have Outlast for nothing. And I mean, let's face it, a game for free, or it's a glorified rental system in a way, but it's still brilliant value for money. A free game is a free game.
Exactly. Outlast. I am enjoying Outlast. I've played it about an hour and a half now, which I hear is a record around people that I know. As in my hometown, I found out that I went into the game the other day, and the guy in there was impressed because I played it for an hour and a half, because everyone else seems to play it for 10 minutes and then scares themselves shitless and turns it off, and probably goes and plays the Lego Movie or something.
So for those who don't know what Outlast is, what is Outlast?
Well,
what do you do? What's the score? What's the crack?
Well, it's a first-person survival horror game where this reporter goes into an asylum, and once he gets in there, all this shit goes on, and everyone's getting killed, and all these people are being mutated and experimented on, and you try basically, as soon as you get in there, you get attacked by some weird priest guy, and you have to try and escape, but it's all maximum security, and you just try and escape, and all the lights go out, and all you've got is your little video recorder, which will put on night vision to see, and you just got to escape. And then when you might encounter a monster or a mutated patient, you can't fight them. You literally just have to run or hide in a closet until they leave, basically. But it is a scary, intense game. It made me and my friend jump a couple of times, but...
You mean me?
Yeah, it made him jump a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm that friend. Yeah. Rob came around, we had a nice evening together playing Outlast. My impressions of it was fantastic atmosphere in the game.
Yes.
It's definitely creepy. The scares are more jump scary type things, which is good. I mean, I've kind of got desensitised to all these films with jump scares in because I studied film at college and to a university level, so I kind of know how they set up jump scares. But in a game, you know, you get a bit more involved in a game, and when things happen, it did make me jump. I admit.
I mean, I'd put in on Outlast. I mean, I only ever gave it a very quick go. I do think that they sort of like, because like you come through that window, don't you, and then you end up in that corridor, and there's very quickly there's a hell of a lot of bodies and blood and stuff, doesn't it? How, would you? I mean, you've played it more. Would you say that that's sort of how quickly they introduced that?
Yeah, because it's not. I think they have to introduce it really quickly because I've read that it's only about a 5-hour game,
Right,
so they can't like take their time and set it all up. They just throw you in. As soon as you get in there, everyone's dead. There's blood everywhere. There's arms in toilets.
Yeah, there was an abundance of that. People getting stuffed down toilets. It was just a hand sticking out the toilet. It's like, well, who on earth is gonna fit down a toilet? And if that's not the case, what's the other explanation for it? And the only other explanation I can think about is someone's having some very funny shits.
Yeah.
Okay.
These mutants aren't shitting normally.
But I totally see where you're coming from with kind of, you know, you climb up and you go into this window, and then all of a sudden there's just like bodies everywhere, and it's like any normal person would have fucked up as soon as they saw that. Any normal person wouldn't just stroll up to a sane asylum in the middle of the night when there's thunderstorms going on and climb in through the window. It's just sort of like, you know, I wouldn't do that.
But I think as well, like, I don't know, obviously some of the references I'm going to make won't be universal, but have either of you seen a game called Slenderman?
Yes, I've seen Slenderman.
Yeah.
And I think the tension that's built up in that because you don't see him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that translates in terms of, like, obviously Outlast is scary, but like Brock said, it's mostly jump scares, but like, obviously Slenderman is building to a jump, it is literally one huge jump scare, but because you are just literally in a normal forest and there's...
Because I saw the one when
around.
it was in a house.
Yeah.
There's a house and the guy was just running around, and then someone was chasing him, he was getting attacked, and he was like, oh my god, he's in the pool, legged it to another room, and obviously the Slender Man was chasing this one guy around, and he was just being chased, and you can't see where he's this, but then you can see like he's being attacked, so he legs it even more, but you just can't see anyone around him.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I had a go on a Slenderman game. It was actually on somebody's iPhone that I played it, so I can't really gauge. I don't know what the proper Slenderman is like.
Yeah.
This one was, I was just basically running around a forest and picking up some notes, and that was about all that seemed to happen in the whole game, and I couldn't really, you know, I was bored after about 5 or 10 minutes. I hadn't seen Slenderman. And then all of a sudden I just died, and apparently I'd been got by Slenderman, and I hadn't even seen him. I don't know what was going on with it, but I wasn't terribly impressed with that. Outlast, I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed the atmosphere, but I've got to say, after about an hour, I was just kind of like, I was a bit desensitised to it, and I'm not totally sure about this whole, I mean, scary games and all the rest of it, you know, survival horrors. I've never really played a genuinely scary game myself. I find that it creates a unnerving atmosphere, but is it genuinely scary? Am I genuinely scared? Because at the back of my mind, I think this is nothing but pixels on a screen.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing but...
I think for me it can go even deeper than that for actual like horror games. We've always got that agency. It's like horror films, obviously you can't control that. The characters are doing what they're doing, and obviously people always say stereotypically that horror characters act stupidly. Obviously just to produce the most scary results, but in a game, especially with a game that you're actually like armed, obviously I mean in Outlast you're not, and in Slenderman you're not. you've always got the option to do what you want to do. You're not stuck in any given.
You
situation.
play it how you play.
Yeah, I mean,
But as I say, there isn't that many scary games. Like they say, like everyone says Dead Space. They say those games are really scary, and I played the second one, and I wasn't. Yeah, it had a scary atmosphere and the sound effects, and it was all good. But when I played that, I wasn't scared or wasn't on edge or anything.
And this is coming from the person that sent a tweet that Outlast is scary even in the daytime.
Yeah, well, I was a bit scared because it made me jump.
I just loved that tweet when I saw it. It made me chuckle.
I've got to make your day somehow, bro.
Oh, I know. You always make my day, right? But I mean, I think this Outlast Slender Man was like that was a couple of years ago, was it?
Oh yeah.
When that first come out. And now we've got Shinji Mikami. I'm sorry if I've said that totally wrong. He's got a new horror game coming out. He was like the original creator of Resident Evil, I believe. See, I should have took some fucking notes, shouldn't I? But I think I'm right in saying that. If I'm not, I apologise. But he's got a new horror game coming out called The Evil Within. So, can you see horror games making a bit of a resurgence?
I think there's definitely like as graphics and all that improve, it can start competing obviously with horror films in terms of like obviously what is actually looks realistic. I mean, the more realistic it looks,
the more scary it should be. Yeah, I think it's a horror games is one of those games that there's not a lot of the games that come out. You know, you only get a few of them every year. You know, like you have the Dead Space one, and then you'll have another one every year. There'll be 2. But they will always come back into fashion. You know, give it 3 years and then everyone will do horror games and then it'll go out and then it'll come back in again. It's kind of a phase, isn't it? Like 3D.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, the video game industry is a business at the end of the day. So whatever is selling at any one point is going to produce more. I mean, people always complain. You know, well, Call of Duty comes out every year. But every year it sells.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Activision commission a new Call of Duty game every year if people are just going to go out and buy it anyway? And I think Outlast, I don't quite know whether... I mean, that's more of an indie game, so I don't think it's...
But they are making that, like the AAA game, Daylight. If you've seen Daylight, it looks pretty much the same, but like
That's
AAA title game.
That's PS4 exclusive, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that on PC as well?
As far as I know, it's only a PS4 game. But as I say, you're stuck in a hospital. You've only got your phone with you as light, and you're being chased by witches that are trying to kill you. And you've got all these mystical puzzles that you have to get through to get out of the hospital. But it looks very much like Outlast, but on a bigger budget. So I think people are saying, "Oh, Outlast," and now they're trying to copy it and try and make it better and see if it sells through Outlast.
It's interesting that like witches are like going to be a feature of it. I can't think of any other game that really has witches in it.
No, witches aren't particularly a big thing, are they?
Well, it depends what kind of witches. I mean, if they're like green-faced, warty-nosed ones like from the Wizard of Oz, then
No.
I mean, the Wizard of Oz, but that was fucking scary when I was a kid. I mean, to be honest, I was more frightened of those little monkeys with wings. Because I mean, my older brother said to me, what one of them is going to carry you off in the middle of the night. That's, you don't want to hear that at 5 years old.
Well, I think you saying that's just made me think like that. I mean, a lot of things that were scary, obviously, as you were younger, were more like it's things that are disturbing. But can, like you said about being desensitized, can you be disturbed if you are that desensitized?
Yeah, I mean, from gaming sites I read. I read Metro Game Central regularly, and I think people do write in and say, they were genuinely scared by things like Dead Space and Outlast. So I think some people can be. I suppose it's how engrossed you get in the game as well, how in the moment you are. I also think, like a game like Outlast, if you're playing that on your own, and you're in the house on your own, and you've got like stereo or surround sound, headset or surround sound speaker setup, then it's going to create much more of an atmosphere. And you know, if you happen to play that game when there was a thunderstorm outside in the middle of the night, I can imagine, you know, a little bit of poo might pop out. I think it certainly would for me. It nearly did when that at one moment in there where this open this door and this fucking body just drops down from the roof. Yeah, that was a good genuine jump scare. I enjoyed that.
Skin crawled a little, I have to admit. My skin was crawling.
But no, it was good. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Titanfall Beta. I feel like, being the only Xbox One owner, that I should at least mention the Titanfall Beta.
PC.
Yeah, did you play it on the PC though?
No.
Well, if you didn't play it, then... But yes, it is available on PC and on Xbox 360 a week later, just in case you wanted to know. So yeah, I was playing the Titanfall Beta. I think the first thing I would say was that you had to apply for a code, and then you get given the code. Some people were getting them on Valentine's Day. Kind of glad I didn't get mine on Valentine's Day, because that would have been difficult to explain to my my lovely girlfriend. I don't think she would have let me play on that instead of spending the evening with her. Although she might have preferred to not be around. No, we...
Two ways it could have gone.
Yeah, we had a nice takeaway and watched a shit film. Great Valentine's Day, that was.
What did you watch? Oh, you watched like
we watched The Devil Inside. I think I'd have rather had a devil inside, in all honesty. It'd have been less painful.
It's not particularly Valentine's Day film.
Well, no, but you know... You know, if she gets scared, she hugs me closer, you know. Anyway, going off subject.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, there was these codes were getting passed out, and Twitter was literally on fire with people giving away these codes. People saying, "Oh, I've got 10 codes, I've got 12 codes." And I was thinking to myself, why are they sending all these codes to the same fucking people when I'm sat here, not with no code at all? And then, anyway, finally, what day was it? Saturday? It was the Saturday, late afternoon time. And I had a text from a very good friend of mine.
Hi.
Yes, it was Rob. Basically winding me up at first. Like, oh, have you got a code for the beta, have you? No, I haven't. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? It was basically the nuts and bolts of it. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, by the way, here you are. I've got a Titanfall beta code for you. So I was like, fantastic. I opened up my inbox to find I'd already got one in there. So, you know. And... But it was a bit annoying, because I got on there and like loads of people, the level cap was level 14, and loads of people were already level 14, and then I'm coming up there level 1.
Well, the thing is, with the codes, on Sunday afternoon it became free to everyone anyway.
Yeah.
So the codes were irrelevant anyway.
Well, this was the frustrating thing for me. It was like, finally managed to get on, and then Sunday afternoon, boom, it was just open beta to everyone. I was like, what was the point in all these fucking codes? I know what the point
was to press and advertise.
Yeah, that was part of it, but also they wanted to get a steady stream of people on to see how the servers coped with, which is fair enough. It's a beta. It didn't cost me anything to play on it, and I had a lot of fun playing on it. I have uploaded a couple of videos on my channel for that. I got my first thumb down on one of my Titanfall videos.
Oh, probably a PlayStation fanboy.
It could have been.
It was wrong.
It was you, wasn't it, you bastard? But you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Wanker. And yeah, so basically a lot of the criticisms that were lobbied at it before anyone had even played the game, that's one thing I really fucking hate. is
Exactly what I did.
criticisms of games before anyone's actually played it. And, you know, you can get a feeling of whether you're going to like... I mean, if you don't like online multiplayer shooters...
Hello.
Then you're not going to like Titanfall. Because it's, funnily enough, an online multiplayer shooter. I'm kind of... I wouldn't say I was a massive online shooter fan. I did enjoy Battlefield 3. I have loved Halo in the past. Well, you know...
There might be some rage moments.
A lot of rage moments with Battlefield 3.
The arms on the sofas aren't looking too good these days.
No. They have took a bit of a battering, to be fair. They used to be more up here. They've sank now. So my thoughts. I was going on to some. I'm terrible at. I get sidetracked really easily, and I start talking about something I didn't want to talk about. Basically, some of the criticisms that were lobbied at it. First one was this one was my personal favourite. It's a Call of Duty clone.
I agree with that.
It's Call of Duty with robots.
Yep.
The one it really when I played the game, it really didn't remind me of Call of Duty at all. My personal feeling was that the guns could have been a bit more adventurous, being as it's from the future, you know. But from what I've read elsewhere, that there might be some laser type weapons in there, which would be cool. There's also talk of like monsters and wildlife and stuff that you can interact with in the game, and you can like use them as like a trap. And there's an artwork book that's come out, and that's got some interesting pictures in of the monsters. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. But to me, it reminded me more of like Unreal Tournament and Quake, and those type of run and gun shooters.
I can see where people are coming from with COD, because COD is very fast paced and very very loose. And when I was watching your videos of Titanfall on your YouTube channel,
You were the one, were you?
I was sitting right next to you.
Oh yeah.
And it was quite, you moved around the area quite at some speed, and you were, jumping up quite high, and it did feel quite loose. It might not feel loose to play, but watching it felt quite loose and quite fast, fluid. Whereas you play like Battlefield, it's a bit more. Obviously, you're trugging through. It's a bit more slower, a bit more tighter. I have played Battlefield, so I know, but I don't know if that's how is that how it is to play? Is it fast and loose?
It's fast. I wouldn't call it loose. The gunplay is pretty tight.
Yeah.
I think you can't underestimate the fact of the wall running and being able to get onto the top of buildings in the blink of an eye. That adds a whole new kind of tactic to the game. You can get to all sorts of nooks and crannies. The maps, I must say, have been very well designed to accommodate your pilots and also the Titans as well. There's big areas. The Titans can hide in cover. The Titans do not feel overpowered either. I mean, towards the end of the beta, literally I'd get in my Titan and you'd just get annihilated within seconds because everybody was getting so much better at the game. But I mean, Call of Duty is quite fast paced, but I've never thought of Unreal Tournament when it's playing it. Call of Duty is kind of its own beast, if you know what I mean. It's
the thing I talked to a couple of the guys at work who've played the Titanfall Beta on Xbox One as well, and I did say something that they agreed with them, and I don't know if you will obviously, but I think if you obviously I've only watched it, if you put the running mechanics, like the wall running and the jumping and all that, if they incorporate that into Call of Duty in the next title or whatever, apart from the robots, what differences would there be? Because I mean, if you look at the HUD, for example, I mean that's no indication of the actual gameplay, But it obviously with Respawn Entertainment being the dying corpse of Infinity Ward when they all decided to run away.
I prefer the Phoenix from the Flames.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't know if it would fit in. But,
you know, they've come from
the
the
Phoenix
remnants
from the
of
flame.
Infinity Ward.
I
I don't really know if I'd actually call them that. It just popped in my head.
Okay, we'll edit that one out. Yeah, Phoenix from the Flames, there you go. Being the Phoenix from the Flames for Infinity Ward. I've lost my complete train of thought now. What I was trying to say. But yeah, if you put the Titanfall running into Call of Duty, and you don't, everything apart from the robots, what is the point of difference for you?
Yeah, but the thing is, if you put that wall running in Halo, if you put that wall running in Battlefield, because they're first-person shooters, by putting that mechanic into the game then makes it Titanfall, you know what I mean?
But I mean, the actual gunplay and the actual weapons, the way the screen's laid out, the way the people move, the animations, it all looks very similar to Call of Duty for me. And obviously, coming from the company that made the first one, it's not surprising that it's drawing those comparisons.
No, it's not surprising, but you have to call it a Call of Duty clone. I think is doing the game a bit of an injustice. I don't think it's trying to do something a bit different. It's not the revolution that some people are making it out to be. It's more evolution than revolution.
Well, do you think it's going to be a console seller?
Do you think I have a feeling I think it will. I don't think it's going to be as big a hit as Microsoft are hoping for. I mean, the news that the Xbox One in this country is... For every Xbox One that's sold in this country, there's been 2 PS4s sold. It's kind of like our demographic here, isn't it?
So, if we take us as a representative sample, 2 people play their consoles and the third owns a PlayStation but doesn't use it. So actually, PlayStation and Xboxes are used absolutely equally.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. But I genuinely think, because Call of Duty is such a popular game, and I think people are starting to get a bit bored of it, and they are looking for that next generation of shooter, then I do think there will be some people that will buy an Xbox One just to play on Titanfall. I wouldn't, I mean, I already own one, obviously, but if I didn't own one, I wouldn't be buying it just for Titanfall. Titanfall for me is kind of, I have thoroughly enjoyed the beta, but I'm looking. There's one main reason why I'm second guessing whether I'm going to get it on release or not, and that's because the greatest game that will ever be made is being released the same day.
What, Dynasty Warriors?
No, not Dynasty Warriors.
Oh.
No, it's Dark Souls 2.
It's interesting you say that, because when we were at lunch or dinner or wherever we were last time I mentioned Dark Souls 2, you said, "Oh, I don't know, man. Titanfall's out that day." And you're the biggest Dark Souls fan there is.
No,
you did. You said that. I
didn't
remember
mean
specifically.
it like... I was definitely not being serious.
Has he been drinking?
I think you might have got me the wrong way round.
No, I remember specifically.
There's no way I would have said that.
Yes.
There's no way I would have said that.
I don't think you'd played the beta. You hadn't played the beta yet, I don't think.
There's no way I would have... I said I don't know about Titanfall because Dark Souls 2 is out that
Jolly
time.
Cooperation's integrity has been ruined here. He said it.
I didn't... You're a liar.
I've turned
You're
your Xbox on.
What?
Oops, sorry.
You've turned my Xbox on. Why have you done this?
There you go. It's dead. No, it's back alive.
Just leave it alone.
Die.
You don't want the red ring of death?
It's off now. Oh my god.
It's off. It's off.
Well, will it turn on again?
Don't know. Oh, it's still whirring.
Yeah, it will whir for a bit.
Anyway, back to the accusation I'd previously levelled.
Yes, I did not say that.
You
I
did.
categorically deny
I remember
that.
it. Stuck in my mind.
It was the other way around.
No.
It's Titanfall that I have been wondering whether to get, not Dark Souls.
It was a while ago.
No, I can if I may have said it the wrong way around, but I certainly didn't mean it. There was no. I've had Dark Souls 2.
It's like a press release. This is.
I know, yeah. I feel like I'm on trial here. So, it's like most of my fan base watch bloody Dark Souls videos. Don't
Deny me them.
Unsubscribe.
Please don't. Please don't, you're all I have. No,
Charming.
Dark Souls 2 is definitely my priority for March the 14th. 100%. Titanfall is the one I'm in an hour and about. But I had so much fun on the beta. And I actually got talking to a mate of mine I haven't spoken to for a while, which was great to catch up with him, and we just had such a laugh. And I think there's that social element with online shooters that a lot of people don't actually acknowledge. A lot of people think it's just a bunch of sweary teenagers questioning your sexuality and claiming that your mum is one of their conquests. My mum would have more taste than that. But when you're playing with your mates and you're all playing together and you're having a laugh, and if you're playing Battlefield and you're taking each other tags, or well, everyone was taking my fucking tags, bastards, and there's that kind of social element to it, and a lot of the people I've read about that were talking about the Titanfall beta were saying that it was like as they called it, the good old days when the first Modern Warfare came out, and they were all playing on that, and they were all having a laugh, and there was that social aspect of it, and I think that's the bit. Call of Duty's been getting a bit stale. Everybody's been looking for the new thing. Battlefield came along. Well, it's been along for a while, but for console gamers, Battlefield come along. It gave people something a bit different. EA unfortunately rushed DICE to get Battlefield 4 out before it was ready. It's become a bit of a running joke now, to the point where I actually just got rid of it because I'd had enough of the constant server problems. And so that's probably what's going to make me want to get Titanfall, is that playing online with my mates and just having a laugh while we're blowing the shit out of each other.
To ask another question. Sorry,
yes, no, answer the question. Ask the question.
Obviously, the previous, like you've said about Call of Duty, their previous business model, obviously releasing one every year. What would you expect from Respawn to do with Titanfall in that sense? Because obviously there's no story mode as such now. I mean, if like you said, being everybody's collected onto one game, there is that social aspect. Because Call of Duty 4, when I used to play with back in the day, we used to end up having to run 2 or 3 parties of 6 players because we had so many people playing the same game.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if they could build Titanfall up, like if you Titanfall pay money, you've got it, and then they start, I don't know, maybe DLC, or if they just want to build it as a platform for people to play on. It could be like that, but I think if they start releasing one every year, it's just going to fracture the fan base and blow it up.
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. I don't think... What you need to remember is that Respawn are a much smaller company than Infinity Ward were, and Respawn is one game developer, whereas at Activision they had Infinity Ward, and then they had, what was the other, Treyarch. They've now got Sledgehammer Games working on it. So they have, Sledgehammer Games are going to be working on Call of Duty.
3-year cycle now.
3-year cycles. So you're still going to get one every year, but they've got an extra year to polish and hone it, and just make it the same. But how long is it going to be before Call of Duty? If Titanfall is very successful, how long is it going to be before they're going to stick wall running in theirs? And like you say,
Yeah, that's it.
But then it will be like, it could be a vicious circle there. As far as I'm concerned, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Titanfall, Halo, they're all online multiplayer shooters. But Call of Duty and Halo have got quality single player experiences. I mean, I've always enjoyed Halo single player more than anything else. Call of Duty I'll only ever play in single player anyway. Battlefield usually has a weak single player, which I never usually bother with because I get bored halfway through. Titanfall isn't going to have a single player at all. That's one of the things that I think they have done wrong. I don't think that they will release Titanfall 2 for at least, at the very, very minimum, 2 years.
See,
And it'll be multi-format if they've got any sense.
well, this is it. Like, that's another point, that it might not dethrone Call of Duty, obviously, because of the popularity of the PlayStation, if everybody is actually playing theirs. And on the Xbox, it's not got the breadth of audience that Call of Duty has.
It's got a closed market.
Call of Duty is its own beast. There's not many things that are as popular as Call of Duty. I mean, let's be honest, it's quite a rare thing. I mean, the only thing that can hold a candle to Call of Duty is Grand Theft Auto. But you only have to look that Halo has been an Xbox exclusive its whole time and has been a hugely popular and a hugely successful game. So I don't think exclusivity is going to do it any harm.
I do think that, to be fair, when you think about online shooters and you think what is the top popular games, it's Call of Duty and Battlefield. I wouldn't even, for me anyway, I wouldn't even think of Halo up there because it is an exclusive. Because there's PC players that play both of those, there's PS4 players that play both of those, there's Xbox
No, but
players that
I
play
mean,
both of those.
Halo is ridiculously popular.
Oh no, I'm not denying that.
You'd be surprised how popular it is.
No, I'm not denying that at all. But in terms of the entirety of gaming, when you sit down and talk with a group of gamers, we've all played all of that.
Yeah,
I've played Battlefield on PC. I've played Battlefield.
Yeah,
on Xbox.
well, I think where he's going is that if you got 10 random gamers in a room and asked them what's the top 3 multiplayer first-person shooters, it would be Battlefield and Call of Duty would be up there, and Halo.
Not saying Halo wouldn't be number 3, but
it wouldn't be the
It
first.
would. I'm not saying Halo's the most popular one.
No.
But, you know,
it's never going to hit the top spot because it is exclusive.
And obviously, you can play Battlefield and Battlefield and COD on like pretty much every console, if it be handheld or home consoles.
And I think that's maybe a reason.
Because it hits
but
a
not the Wii U.
Not the Wii U.
Not the Wii U.
You can play on the Wii,
Call of
but
Duty is released on the Wii, isn't it? I think.
Call of Duty is.
Yeah.
Is Ghost?
Not that anybody cares.
I don't know, but
Well, lots of people. Well, yeah.
yeah,
Nobody cares.
but like because it hits a wider area, obviously there's more chances of people going to play it. But I'm saying
Some people care about the Wii U.
Were they watching your channel?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Some people do care about the Wii. Of course they do.
Nobody
Nintendo,
cares about
man.
the Wii. Comment if you care about the Wii U. Okay.
I'm sure
Zero
that there'll
comments.
be people that will comment about the Wii U. I would buy a Wii U, but I want more games that I want to play on it.
I just want to play Lego City Undercover, and that's it. Because that looks amazing.
Is that a console seller for you?
It is. It is if the console was like 50 quid.
If they gave it away, I'd buy one there.
Yeah, but if it's like 250 just for one game, that's probably about 6 hours long. I'll be like, take it back to. I'll buy the console and take it back to game about 5 hours later. But yeah, I've had enough of this now. I played my one game.
Not a bad idea.
So, well, we've brought it up. Why don't we talk about the Wii U?
Go on then. I've got nothing to say.
Well, I think, I mean, for me, Nintendo will always have a special place in my heart because it was the first console I ever owned that was my console was a Nintendo Entertainment System, the good old NES. They were rare as apparently I didn't know this, but apparently they didn't sell all that well in England or the UK as a whole back in the day. But I can safely say I had one and thoroughly enjoyed it. So Nintendo kind of geared me into the gamer I am today.
I think maybe you could sum up Nintendo's business model with that anecdote in terms of nostalgia.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you look at the
Obviously,
Nintendo consoles over the history. I mean, apart from the Super Nintendo, and the Wii was a rare beast that was just massively successful. I think a lot of people that wouldn't necessarily buy a games console were buying that just to try and make themselves fit. did it for a couple of months and then left it collecting dust under
Yeah,
the TV.
I think months is generous, to be honest.
But the Wii U, I don't think it's waited too long for its killer app. I would like to play on. Is it Super Mario Land 3D?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's that many. I can never remember which one's which.
No.
But Super Mario Land 3D looks quality game with like 4-player co-op.
Yes.
I mean that'd be great fun. I think the console is reasonably priced. I don't think they've made much use of the gamepad.
Basically, the Wii U gamepad is, I think it's a big gimmicky thing. I think they had a console, Microsoft had theirs, and they needed that big wow factor as like the big thing to sell it. And I think they're thinking, oh, you got a big gamepad in your hand, it'd be like a second screen, and it would be really cool. But when developers are making the games, they don't actually even think about the gamepad, so that just became irrelevant. It was just like a map or something. It was never used, thus it was like, what's the point of having this giant thing in your hand if it's not going to be used when you can use a Wii U controller?
Do you not think that they were trying to like appeal to the iPad generation? Because that's what I thought when I first saw it. I thought the concept had some interesting ideas to start off with. Like with Zombie U, you had to look in your inventory and you're literally looking away from the screen, and you could be getting attacked by a zombie at any moment.
Yeah.
And that adds a little bit of a tension. But then I haven't really heard of. The one that surprised me was when hate to bring it up, but Aliens Colonial Marines. When they announced that for the Wii, and the gamepad was apparently going to be like your motion tracker. And when I heard that, I was like, oh man, that sounds so cool. I was like, that sounds like the best idea ever. And then they canned Colonial Marines for the Wii U, which possibly didn't do the Wii U that much harm, in all fairness. I mean, I'm sure some people got some enjoyment out of it. Me personally, I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't.
Another thing that strikes me with the Wii U is though that you buy the console, you get the gamepad, but then if you want to play multiplayer, you've got to buy a Wii remote and a nunchuck, and then if you want like 4-player co-op, that's 3 Wii remotes and 3 nunchucks you got to buy, and that's, what are they selling for these days? About 40 quid for the pair.
40 quid. Probably about that. 20 each.
So you're looking at like, 120 quid extra you got to spend on controllers. And I suppose you could say the same for Xbox One and PS4 controllers.
But it's
they're about
less
40 quid.
But I think with PlayStation and Xbox, it's less of it's more of an online thing. Whereas I think with the Wii, it's a family thing, isn't it? So you get all your family together on the same screen.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of the games aren't split screen these days, aren't they? On PlayStation and Xbox, they're not split screen. Everything's like online co-op, online multiplayer. It's not split screen, so obviously you can buy 4 controllers, but you won't use 4 controllers that much, will you?
No, that's right.
Well, the only game that immediately... Well, there's 2 games, because my games are so from... like Sonic and Sega Racing, you can split the screen 4 ways on that. And Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends, can you justify buying those controllers just to play those games with 4 players? As fun as it may be, are you really going to get much out of your investment in the long run? And well, like you say, you say that the split screens going out of fashion, and it is, and it's a depressing thing because personally, there's nothing better than sat there split screening with your mates.
For me, co-op gaming is what are best. I don't like playing competitive online games, so I don't play multiplayer games. Co-op, I love playing co-op, and I'd rather play co-op with someone sitting next to me than playing over the internet with someone I can't see. Yeah, I might be talking to them on a headset, but it's not the same thing.
So I'm disappointed that they are getting rid. Split screen is leaving, but oh well.
Sounds like you're really gonna miss it. No, I mean, I hope that split screen will stick around. I mean, Lego Marvel split screen. I think one of the main things is though that there's so much for this push for power and amazing graphics that to split screen it and duplicate it's going to take twice as much processing power. And it's like, well, I mean, me personally, I'd be quite happy if they toned down the graphics a bit to enable a split screen, as long as the game called for a split screen. But I noticed that racing games is a key one. I always used to split screen racing games, and now that you just can't split screen racing games anymore.
No.
It's like, look at Forza, and you know the graphics are amazing on it, but they're more interested on creating the stupid fucking glare on every single track when the sun's on the horizon and you can't see fuck all on every track. They're more interested in creating that than they are in creating a split screen mode, so I don't know. I think that's the thing with online, you know, because with Forza you got the online multiplayer and stuff. They'd rather concentrate more on that because that will give the game longevity and will keep people playing that game. But yeah, that was a point you were... How did we get onto that from the Wii U? Split screen gaming,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, did they look at the success of like the DS with the two screens and think, can we replicate that in the home? Fundamentally, I think that there's nothing wrong with the basic idea. There's nothing wrong with the console. The main problem for the Wii U, there's not enough games. Third-party publishers are not releasing games for it. I mean, look at Rayman Legends. That was going to be a Wii U exclusive at one point. And Ubisoft looked at the situation. They looked at the sales of the Wii U and were like, well, we're not going to make our money back if we don't release it multi-format. And now they've released it on every frigging console under the sun, because I've got it for Xbox One. It's out on Xbox 360, it's out on PS3. Sorry, I had a bit of a burp.
Break.
PS Vita,
It's on
PS4.
PS Vita, you know, PS4. It's on... Is it on the 3DS?
I don't think so.
Surprised.
Because I would have thought the 3DS would be a quality console to do. You own a 3DS, don't you? Or did you?
Yeah, my brother plays it more than me. He just convinces me to buy shit so he can use it. Well, yeah, it's a really good idea.
No, I've never played on a 3DS at all.
I played one for about a couple of minutes in game. But then the woman started talking to me, so I stopped.
Oh, yeah. Easily distracted, are we? Yeah, so I think just going back to the Wii U, it's a shame what's going on with it. I would like to see it selling more, but fundamentally, unless Nintendo pull their finger out, and I do feel sorry for the Nintendo fans out there. You know, they will defend Nintendo, and quite rightly so. Nintendo, nobody makes games like Nintendo, so you want them to stick around. But I'll throw this question out there. I mean, it will never happen. But what would you think about Nintendo going to just being a publisher and a developer and just going, instead of making consoles, they just make games for other consoles?
So I'll be happy with it.
Mario on PS4, could you ever see it happening?
No. I couldn't see it happening. Would I like it to happen? Yes, because I wouldn't have to buy two consoles. But yeah, I think the games they do have quality games, first party ones. Mario, Donkey Kong's making a return. I did play Donkey Kong Returns and I did thoroughly enjoy it. It was like playing Donkey Kong Country on my Super Nintendo, and I loved it. The nostalgia was there. Mario games are great.
You got Mario Kart,
Mario Kart.
You can't go wrong with Mario Kart.
Exactly, and so yeah, I love to play the games, but at the moment there's no need for me to buy a second console. So if they're all on one console, loving it, but I don't see it happening, unless Nintendo get absolutely screwed and they just think, fuck it, I ain't making another console, which could happen, but at the moment I don't see it.
No, it definitely won't happen just solely because Nintendo have got a shitload of money in reserves.
Exactly.
And the reason they've done that is to make sure that even if they have a console fail, they can continue to run as they want to run. But they had a meeting, and it seems like they are going to start delving into more type of like the mobile phone market, this type of thing. You know, I mean, what about the possibilities of them? You know, they hold back their key titles like Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong, things like that. They hold those back, but maybe still do third-party publishing. You know, they still would release games on other consoles.
So do you mean a new IP instead of the traditional ones?
They could.
Yeah.
One thing I do think Nintendo should do is make some sort of new IP. Because what was the last new IP they did? Pikmin on the GameCube.
Yeah.
I think the trouble is, it is also iconic. I mean, if you ever look at anything about gaming, Nintendo products are at the forefront, aren't they?
Yes.
Like you got Mario and Donkey Kong. They're all icons of gaming. But can they replicate that with a new IP? You can't. I mean, icons aren't born overnight.
It's a nostalgia thing as well, isn't it, Mario?
Definitely.
He's been around, since like 80, 83, 84? I mean, he's Jumpman in Donkey Kong.
Yep.
So, you know, he's been around a long time. He's still going.
Well, it is when you talk about gaming, usually Mario is the first thing that pops into your head. If you're of a certain generation, anyway.
Of course.
You know, Super Mario Brothers on the NES was the first console game I ever played on. I mean, before that, showing my age a little bit, I was playing on my brother's Sinclair ZX Spectrum, 48K of memory. It was a behemoth. The keyboard had rubber keys.
Lovely.
Games came on tapes. You had to have a tape deck.
What was the console that you actually programmed the game yourself out of a magazine?
Oh, wasn't that? Oh, I forget now.
That existed.
It did, yeah, it did. And most of the time the game didn't work. But that was what gaming was like back then, you know. I mean, people I found, you know, I was talking to you earlier and you said, what's Rise like? Can I have a look at that? And I was like, yeah, but I'm going to have to wait for it to install before I play on it. I was like, welcome to the next gen. And then, you know, I had a bit of a laugh about it. But talking back now, on the ZX Spectrum, it could take like 20 minutes to half an hour just to load the game up, and then it'd come up tape load error on the screen.
Yeah.
You'd have to start again.
Oh,
You'd have to rewind the tape, start all over again. And what I always used to love about it used to make the most annoying sound in the world while it was loading the game. It was like it's just like this for like 20 minutes, and then suddenly the screen would just start flashing weird colours and stuff.
That should be the introduction to this podcast. You going,
Yeah.
and Rob at the end going, ooh.
I haven't done that yet.
Do it now. Give us a soundbite.
I can't do it on cue.
Say something dramatic. Brock.
I don't know.
Is that dramatic enough for you? Say something dramatic. Yeah, so we kind of gone off track on the Wii U anyway. But yes, Nintendo, if you ever do listen to this podcast, release some more games, some new IP, and if not, we don't mind if you release games for the consoles that we own. Give us an excuse to buy a Wii U.
Please.
Not just Mario Kart.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I've never really been a Nintendo fan. I've obviously played the Mario games, but it's never really appealed to me. Do you think that they could recapture a newer market? Younger gamers? Obviously, there's the diehards who will have gone back and played through and have the love for it that perhaps you guys have, but I'm not really bothered. Do you think that obviously the people who play like Call of Duty and things like that, are they going to be able to capture these markets with new
I don't
IPs?
think they're the sort of market that you're going to get, to be honest.
But would that mean that Nintendo's, with their current IPs, even if they did go third party, would they have the market on those consoles to sell? Obviously, there's going to be the few, but
I think fundamentally, Nintendo need to realise that they need third-party games on their console as much as they need their own.
Yeah.
Because that's what people... The biggest games at the moment are all multi-format. You know, your Grand Theft Autos, your Batman Arkham games.
Well, to be fair, Microsoft and Sony, PS4 and Xbox, they wouldn't survive if they only had exclusives.
If they had exclusives, there'd be, 5 games between the Xbox One and PS4
Exactly.
right now.
So it's like, the Wii U, it mainly only has exclusives. They have the odd, Assassin's Creed was on there, but no one ever talks about the Wii U version of Assassin's Creed, do they? It's all exclusive games, so like if the Xbox only had exclusive games, then it would probably fail as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think as much as Nintendo need to release their own games, they do need to have third-party support. I think one of the main problems is... Well, no, it isn't really a main problem, because I don't see that any reason why they can't develop games and then, downgrade the graphics to fit it onto a Wii U. I mean, I'm no expert on the matter, but I would have thought it was possible. I mean, you're having Assassin's Creed 4 running on an Xbox 360 and Xbox One, for example. So if the 360 and the PS3 can run it, then the Wii U should be able to run it, because the Wii U is just as powerful as them, if not more.
Again, that's probably coming back to my other point. Does the Wii U have the target market to sell those games on?
Well, that it hasn't got a market at the moment, has it?
But the theory, if the technical, obviously, like you say, between the 360 and Xbox One, there's no technical reason why not. It must be a financial one, because, like you say, gaming companies are businesses, and if there's not a financial reason to do something, they won't do it.
If it costs them, like, say, 100 million to publish Assassin's Creed on the Wii U, but they see the market on the Wii U, and they're only going to make about half of that, because not many people are going to buy the Wii U version. What's the point of selling if you're going to make a loss on publishing that game on a console that no one owns?
It's not even about the bottom line either, because if they could break a profit on the Wii U version, they're better off spending that development time and the money that they put to publishing that into DLC or the next title. Because it's not just about the fact that they could make money doing it. It's can they make more money doing something else with the same time and capital.
Well, I think with Nintendo, between Nintendo and EA, there was something funny went on there, because EA had a load of games that were lined up to be released, and then all of a sudden cancelled them all. And I don't think we'll ever fully know the details there, but there's obviously been a breakdown in the relationship between... I mean, EA are one of the biggest publishers. I think they're the biggest, or is it Activision?
I'd say I'd throw a guess at it. Yeah.
I think Activision have overtook in there because of COD.
Oh, of course, yeah. But
I still think EA maybe.
I'd struggle. Well, yeah. Cut this bit.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. I'll be EA. No, I won't. They're wankers. No. Anyway, well, they're big. Let's put it that way. EA are big.
So are Activision.
Activision are big.
Other publishers are available.
Other publishers are available. Yeah. So if they're the two big ones. I think Activision have provided some sort of support. EA seem to have pulled all their support, but I think Nintendo's biggest supporters and I find this slightly ironic, and I'll explain why in a moment, is Ubisoft. Ubisoft have been very supportive of the Wii U. There's a lot of Ubisoft games came out for it. I mean, like Splinter Cell Blacklist's come out for it. Rayman Legends, of course. Other Assassin's Creed games. You know, the Ubisoft big hitters have come out for the Wii U, so they've shown their support. Which is fairly ironic because Nintendo notoriously really don't give a shit about Europe. Being as Ubisoft a European, I find that kind of ironic a little bit. Because I remember back in the old days of the NES, and this might go a little over some of the younger people's heads, but we were reduced to playing 50 hertz bad conversions of Nintendo games on our NESs, whereas in America and other areas they were running at 60 hertz, which meant that they had a higher refresh rate, which meant they played smoother. There was less graphical glitches on the screen. I mean, I always remember on Super Mario Brothers 3, and there was just like a permanent like flicker in the bottom screen. There was like this line, and it just used to permanently flicker all the time. And it was like, you know, bad borders as well, just because they couldn't be bothered to make the game. You know, I can't think of the words that escaped me. But they couldn't be bothered to fine-tune the game towards the PAL audience of Europe. And when it comes to Nintendo, we've always seems to got the shitty end of the stick in Europe. But yet, Europe seems to now be their biggest supporters on a gaming front anyway. So, they're a funny old beast, Nintendo. But Nintendo, we wish you well, and we hope you stick around and make lots of nice games. So, is there anything else anybody wants to talk about while we're talking? I'll take that as a no.
I should have done notes.
You should have done notes, yeah.
I'll save one for
Need
next time.
more subjects for next time. Yes, so shall we wrap things up then?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much if you have been listening for this long.
The achievement.
It is an achievement. You don't get an achievement for it. I'm sorry, we don't have that technology yet. Maybe next year. And thanks very much for listening. And we shall catch you next time. Anything that you guys want to say?
Just drop us a comment. See how any questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've got comments.
Questions.
That'd be really good actually if we could get loads of questions and then we could answer the questions in the next podcast. So please do.
Always thinking.
Yes, Rob. You know.
And also, comment if you care about the Wii U.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be surprised.
Anyway, any Wii U fans are anyway you.
And also, if this is unedited, I'll be surprised if you hear that.
Any Wii U owners out there?
I'm leaving that motherfucker. I just want all the Nintendo fans to come on here and really hate on you for not liking Nintendo.
My Twitter name is AS_Burgess.
Yeah, I will put a link to all of our Twitter names in the description above. And yes, that's it for now. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.